Welcome back, guys. I hope you have had a wonderful day. The sun came back out, right? You know, there's usually a reason behind people making certain decisions that they make. When we don't think through things, we make sometimes poor decisions. When we follow other people, we sometimes make poor decisions. When we pray on it and take the time that we need to think about it, in most cases, that reason in that season is usually on point. What makes a person, or what pushes a person to do some of the things that they do? There was a man who was had an ex. He hadn't seen her in a little bit, and he decided he was going to meet up with her, unbeknownst to the children and everyone else. And he went to meet with her with his brother, and no one ever saw her alive again. Now, another man, a man who she'd married, was blamed for unaliving her. And sometimes when we don't know that you've spoken to the last person, or you don't know what happened, what went on, sometimes you wonder and you try to figure out why. Sometimes people will be motivated financially to do all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, God has to handle the situation. You see, anything that you took from another person, and it was stolen, of course, obviously, whatever you purchase, it's not going to last. It won't. It might seem as though that meal you purchased was delicious with that stolen money, but what did you gain at the end of that day? You might even get sick, from the food that you purchased with that money. You see, sometimes when people have done so many things for such a long period of time, they think that it's going to continue to be happy moments shared. When I come on the channel and I share different stories with you, and my main thing is to help you to see, because I had a spiritual advisor who gave me a book, and he, went through different lessons with me. And I appreciate that. And what we do is we're supposed to pay it forward. What we know, we're supposed to pay it forward and share with other people. Sometimes when a person wants attention, they'll make a poor choice. And they'll do all sorts of things like, hurt other people just to say, see me, see me. And in all honesty, if you really wanted the person to see you, you could have met them at the soccer game or whatever event was going on. See, I think sometimes when people don't think things through and they make certain choices, it lands badly and lawfully as well. You see, we are all learning from our mistakes. And if I make a mistake and I learn from it, then I can speak about it. Maybe I can teach someone else so that they won't make the same mistake, People were following me the other day, and it was really annoying to me. I called myself doing the trick move, the New York move. And the guy must be from New York too, because he was standing right there when I got back. It's a funny thing. And I'm also sharing these things as well because, you know what? Should anything happen, this is actual factual information that's here, right here, that you actually are witnessing, It's really amazing to me how people can be so driven by finances. I don't have $1 million in the bank right now. And someone might say that my circumstances are pretty, on a lower spectrum of finances. But you know what? I'm still happy because I still get to wake up the next morning. I still get to look at a beach outside. I still get to walk through the park. I still get to go to wherever it is that I need to go. I still get to go to my appointments. I was disappointed that I gained a few pounds the other day. But then I started looking at my meal plan, and I realized that I had cut certain things out of my meal plan. So this is good. We live and we learn. And some of those pounds got to drop off. So we'll see how we proceed. But anytime there's something bitter or something negative that's going on, it's usually God teaching us different lessons. And we are learning. And we are growing. So while we're learning and growing, let us try to take in some of these lessons and blessings that God is giving us. Because if we continue to try to harm or hurt another individual, we know that the only thing that's coming back is the turmoil and the residuals that you push forward, Growing up, my father had us go to a lot of different people. We went to this guy who was a prophet, Prophet Jones, I never forget it. And we followed him all over the planet, it seemed. Taking long drives trying to find this guy and hear his message. And, they became great friends, and I'm sure my father learned a lot from him, and he learned some things from my father. But funny thing is that what I'm really learning more is we get to learn more in our environments just by uniquely just picking up the vibes of other people, being in the energy of other people, getting to see, certain things that spill out, so to speak. It's important that we don't find ourselves always asking a question that you really don't want to know the answers to. That's another thing, Everyone has their own learning journey, and I think we learned a lot through these travels and met, people along the way. I personally thought the best thing that ever happened was probably having a spiritual advisor. But he was blunt. He was very clear in his perspective and what he taught us. And sometimes it hurt, it stung. But in all actuality, I would not take anything from it because I learned so much along the way. In the books that he directed me in reading, I learned a great deal from as well. And experience, let's not forget that, But one of the biggest things that he taught, and I think some of the people who engaged in a lot of action, I'll say actions, I remember him telling me, I had an exam coming up, and I was really nervous about this exam, because this exam, excuse me, was going to place me in a certain position, and I really needed that position. So he said, okay, I have a, lesson for you to do. You work on the Bible, He spoke a lot like, what's the guy's name? The person that Malcolm X found, that he followed, he spoke a lot like that gentleman, Elijah Muhammad. His voice sounds similar to his. And of course, I read Elijah Muhammad's books too, very nice books. Two of them that I read. It's important that you be chaste when you have a big choice, a big decision to make. And a lot of people don't believe in that because in our cultures, we've been raised to, a lot of men have been, raised to have as many women as they want. But when you are to yourself and not engaging in, sexual activity, you actually gain more because you learn a lot about yourself, because you're pulling back and you're allowing yourself to learn certain things. Sometimes we're going to be tried or tested. Somebody looks really nice and comes and approaches you or what have you. Everyone has their own test. But when you pass that test, when you pull back and you say, you know what, I'm going to abstain for this period of time, you gain a lot more. And that's one thing that we all learn. Now, I don't know, with some of the actions that, been going on behind the scenes, some people might say, you know what, I forgot about that. So, a lot of you, when you come to this channel, I'm sure you learn a great deal. And I thank you for coming, to even vibe with me. That's appreciated. However, a lot of the lessons, maybe you can take some of this and, grow from the experience. Because I'm telling you, when you are mixing with so many different people, you carrying around a lot of demons. And those demons, they don't leave so quickly and easily. Because what time did it take for you to go ahead and engage in those actions? And how many people you engaged in those actions with? You carry so much extra trouble by just making those choices. So if you could take some time and just say, you know what? You could start off with a day, 2 days, 5 days. Make your goal a week. Say, you know what? I'm not going to get involved with anybody for this week. I'm just going to work on myself. I'm telling you, what you will gain will be very prosperous. I'm telling you. But it's totally up to you. Everyone's different. But I'm telling you, when you're carrying around all these extra energies with you, it's really taxing on the body and on your energy level. You never know what those other people were involved in. You laid down with them and you woke up with fleas. My great-grandma used to love to tell us that. We were kids when she said that first time. I never forget it. We were running around playing and she said, lay down with dogs, wake up with fleas. I'm like, what in the world is she talking about? She was planting the seed. So if you did not understand then, when it came up again, you connected the dots. It's important that we are becoming more resourceful with ourselves, meaning more observant of the people in our surrounding, more observant of how we even react to people, The energy is real, guys. So let us just be, more resourceful in this time and just observe other people's actions and, maybe pick up a book and read something that you didn't know anything about so you can learn even more, okay? Anyway, that's been our moment. This is Indigo Moon. You have a wonderful day.